Hello, and welcome back to the Manifest Magic Podcast with me, Stephanie Sexton. So, you've been thinking about booking an Akashic Records session. Maybe you've been circling it for a while. Maybe someone you trust mentioned it and you filed it away. And maybe you've looked at the page a few times, closed the tab, because something in you wasn't quite sure what you were getting into. That loop makes complete sense. It's not hesitation because you're not ready. It's hesitation because you don't have enough information yet to feel grounded about what you're stepping into. And when our nervous system can't picture something, it tends to pump the brakes. So that's what today's episode is. It's the honest, practical walkthrough I would want to give every person who's curious but not sure. What actually happens in a session? What you bring, what you receive, and what you do with it. No mystifying, no overselling, just a clear picture of the experience so you can decide from a grounded place whether it's right for you right now. I'm Stephanie Barron Sexton. I'm an intuitive income strategist and a certified Akashic Records practitioner. This is Manifest Magic Studio. Let's get into it. Here's what I hear most often from women who are considering a session and haven't booked yet. I'm not sure if it's real, or I don't know if I'll be good at receiving the guidance. I don't know how to do it. Or the one I hear most often is, I don't know what I'm supposed to ask. All of those make perfect sense. And I want to speak to each of them directly because they're the exact questions that keep someone from getting the clarity they're actually looking for. Right now, a lot of us are in a particular kind of mental loop, reviewing what's worked, replaying what hasn't, and looking for certainty before we commit to the next move. This is all natural. And yet, that loop is really exhausting, partly because the answers we're searching for often aren't in more thinking. They're somewhere underneath the thinking, and the part of the situation our conscious mind keeps skipping over. That's exactly the terrain that the Akashic Records work in. So, this is what I want you to hang on to as we go through this episode. The records are not vague. They're not just poetic. They're not going to give you a beautiful metaphor and just leave you to figure out what to do with it. The guidance is specific, it's practical, and it's personal to you in a way that can't be replicated for anyone else. One more thing I want to bring up before we go any further here. A lot of the hesitation I hear underneath the surface isn't really about whether the records are real or whether it works. It's about whether the answers you receive will match what you already sense is true. There's a particular kind of fear in that. What if I already know and I've been second guessing myself? What if the session confirms something I've been avoiding? That's the fear worth naming, because if that's part of what's keeping you in the tab close loop, it's worth knowing that clarity usually feels like relief, not threat. Most people leave a session calmer than when they arrived, and that's not an accident. It's what precision does for you. When the answer lands somewhere specific, the searching stops. So let's walk through 3 moments of an Akashic Records session. I call the 3 moments the before, during, and after very clearly. Each one has its own feel and its own purpose. The most important thing you bring into your session is a question, specifically a focused question that's open-ended, but not so broad it can't be answered precisely. The questions that work best in my business Akashic Records sessions have some specificity about your offer, your audience, or the next direction that you're considering. They're open enough to let the guidance move freely, but specific enough to land somewhere real. Examples that work well are, how can I better receive my business income? Or what's the best direction for me to go from here in my work? Or one more, how can I better serve my clients? Notice that those questions have a real subject. They name something you're actually dealing with. That quality is what makes them perfectly answerable. You can bring up to 3 questions to a strategic clarity session, and that's the name I use for my business Akashic Records sessions. I do recommend writing your questions out before the session and sitting with them for a few minutes. You'll often notice that one of them feels more charged than the others. That's usually a good signal about where your bigger question lies, and that'll be the question to lead with in your session. Beyond that, there's very little to prepare. You don't need to believe in the records for this to work for you, not at all. You can be entirely skeptical and still walk away with your practical next step in hand. You need a quiet space, and a lot of people like to take a few notes, but I also record your session and send you a transcript afterward, so you don't have to note down everything that feels important, because a lot of it will. So the next moment is during the session. A strategic clarity session with me is 45 minutes on Google Meet, so there's no software to install. The session records automatically, and you receive the full recording and the transcript, like I mentioned, afterward, which means you can stay fully present in the session without worrying about capturing everything in your notes. When the session opens, I access your records using a specific process, and I get your full name from you said out loud to give me permission to go into your records with integrity. So when the session opens and your records are open, the answers come through the clear senses: hearing, seeing, feeling, sensing. Sometimes the guidance arrives as a clear visual, and I'll communicate that. Sometimes there's a deep knowing that surfaces alongside a phrase or sentence, and the channel shifts depending on what's clearest in the moment. I am trained to receive and interpret all of that and share it directly, clearly, truthfully with you, so that you can do with that information what you need to. What most people notice is how specific the guidance is. The Akashic Records answer in phrases and sentences, not in long general statements. This is actually one of the things that distinguish an Akashic Records session from a tarot reading, which I love. But the guidance from tarot comes through in longer, more narrative form, like you get paragraphs from a tarot card as an answer. The records answers tend to be shorter and more precise, and they're easier than in a tarot reading to directly connect with actions you can take. One client described her experience this way: it will become apparent very early that Stephanie is imparting useful and important information that is not one size fits all, but rather information that's for you and only for you. That quality of personal precision is what I hear people come back to most often when they describe what the session gave them. So the third moment is after. Most people leave a session feeling very calm, settled and grounded, clear on what the next practical step is. And one woman described it: I walked in not confident and scattered. I left feeling like I can trust myself to make the right decisions for my business. That shift in state is meaningful, and it tends to outlast the session itself. Because you have your recording and your transcript, you're not trying to remember everything. You can come back to your session as many times as you want. A lot of people find that specific phrases from the session keep resurfacing over the following days and connecting to situations they hadn't thought to bring up in the session. One client mentioned that the day after her session, she had several ideas that just made sense to pursue, but that she hadn't thought of at all before the call. There's no deadline attached to what you can receive. The guidance is yours to move with at your own pace. And I need to say too that because there's often so much practical information given in a session that you want to act on, going back to your transcript and your recording will help you to pull out pieces that you may not have had top of mind when the session ended. So some people expect to walk out of a session with a huge to-do list and a deadline. That's not how it works with me. What you actually walk out with is clarity and a sense of next step direction. So you know precisely what to do in the next couple of days to move your business forward. What you do with that direction gets to unfold in your own time. Here's one thing I'd invite you to do this week if this episode landed for you. Write down your question, the one that you'd bring to a session if you booked one tomorrow. Don't overthink the wording, and remember that your own words are valuable. And I take care to use my clients' words when I post the questions in their records. Just getting the question written down does something. It helps you stop circling whatever it is that you've been trying to decide. What's the best direction for me from here? How do I resolve this piece of my business that keeps stalling? Or how can I move past this income plateau? Writing the question down moves it from background noise to a named specific thing. And once something's named, it's easier to act on. You might find that writing it really clarifies what you actually want to bring to your session. Or you might find that the question has been clearer than you realized, and the only thing left is to book the call. Either way, your main question is a great place to start. If this episode gave you a clearer picture of what a session actually looks like, and you want to experience the Akashic Records before committing to a full session, I have something for you. The 20-minute Akashic Business Reset is a guided experience you can move through in your own time. It's a practical introduction to the work, and it gives you a real sense of what it feels like to receive your soul guidance from the records. The link is in the show notes, and this is a no-cost gift. If you're already clear, though, that a private session is what you're looking for, you can book your strategic clarity session there too, within that freebie. It's 45 minutes, it's $147, and you'll leave with your recording and transcript. For ongoing support and a community of women entrepreneurs who are intuitive, building their businesses from a regulated, grounded place, the Intuitive Business Collective on School is there at no cost as well. It's another support that's available for you. And inside that group, we work on nervous system safe income strategies. We work on staying visible without burning out and building structures that function for you even on low energy days. so important for so many of us right now. The link for that is in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next episode.